This is CBC Here and Now.
It's a new look council here at City Hall in St. John's. Today it held its official swearing-in ceremony. I'll have all the details coming up.
I'm afraid I could get hit by a car or a bus. It just barely happened this morning.
The board says she lives too close to school to catch the bus, but the walk is dangerous.
How can you advertise anything for sale if you don't know what you're selling? And who's going to buy if they don't know what they're buying?
Condo confusion. Two sisters struggle to settle their brother's Sundara estate.
It's limbo.
I hope you didn't put the warm coat too far away. You're gonna have to break it back out as winds shift to northwest. A big temperature drop over the next couple of days. The details are coming up.
Let's get to our top story tonight. Cabinet ministers may soon lose their reserved parking spaces near the entrance of the West Block at Confederation Building in St. John's.
Yes, the provincial government isn't complying with its own accessibility regulations designed to make sure blue zone parking spaces are closest to the entrance. And it took a complaint from a citizen before an inspector ordered improvements.
Here now's Ramona Deering has this report.
Craig Reed is an unassuming advocate for people with disabilities. He's got multiple health problems, including pain in his back and hips. Reed knows firsthand that the shortest possible route into a building makes a big difference for people with disabilities, and that's why he complained about these reserved parking spots for cabinet ministers. They're closer to the main entrance of the West Block than any other parking spaces, even closer than the nearest blue zone parking spots.
The number one rule for accessible parking in our legislation is it has to be located closest to the primary entrance of the building.
Reed complained to Service NL, and now a provincial inspector's order finds that accessible parking spaces are not on the shortest possible accessible route, and government has not complied with its own Buildings Accessibility Act.
This is a government service, and government services are supposed to be accessible. And the first point of contact is our parking lot. And if we can't get that right, well, there's something wrong with our government.
The government has until the 27th of October to make the changes. A spokesperson for Transportation and Works says the department has received the order and is working with Service NL to, quote, resolve the matter as quickly as possible. Reed believes the bottom line is that cabinet ministers, including Education Minister Dale Kirby, will soon have to park elsewhere.
You can see that my spot right there, that's my car right here, the grey one, I guess is closer to the door than the ones at the end that are blue.
Kirby told Reed that cabinet ministers could easily park elsewhere.
There's no special reason. I think it's by virtue of what's traditionally been done, and as you know, you've lectured me repeatedly of, that what we've done traditionally is not necessarily what's, sort of works best for people with disabilities.
Reed promises to keep pushing for change.
Low-cost solutions that work for everyone. That's the name of the game. No one's trying to break the bank here. We're just looking about fairness to have accessibility to buildings we pay for.
Ramona Deering, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, a woman in Portugal Cove, St. Philip's, says a provincial school policy is putting her daughter's safety at risk. A school regulation says students who live less than 1.6 kilometers from school can't take the bus. But she says that means children and teens are being forced to walk on dangerous roads. That mom is calling for change. Here now's Mark Quinn reports.
Suzette Moss says her daughter shouldn't have to do this. She says this busy road where traffic peaks in the morning and afternoon just isn't a safe place for children to walk to school. Her daughter agrees.
It's really dangerous. There's areas of the road that are narrower than my book bag is, and there'll be nowhere to walk except on the busy street when the snow falls.
Suzette Moss believes Rachel should be on this bus, but because they live less than 1.6 kilometers away from school, she's not eligible to ride.
I'd like to see it for all children within the province. And I know there's not a whole lot of money, but these are our kids. These children are our future.
When CBC asked Education Minister Dale Kirby if this policy is being assessed, we received a written statement defending the policy, saying the decision lies with the school boards. The province's school boards are responsible for a system of transportation of students to and from schools.
The board can't make the change to the 1.6 policy. The minister himself, which is Mr. Dale Kirby, has the ability to make the change to the policy. Only him.
The Moss family says it's speaking out because their daughter has a dangerous walk, but they say they're not alone.
It's not just our community, it's all over the province. There's children having to walk in very dangerous walk zones.
And they say people across the province should write letters to the minister calling on him to change this rule. Mark Quinn, CBC News, Portugal Cove, St. Phillips.
Uncertainty over the future of a condominium complex in Mount Pearl is taking a toll on two sisters who say they're stuck with a condo in the building. The women, whose brother died over a year ago, say they can't deal with the estate because they can't sell the condo. In an exclusive interview with CBC, Judy Johnson and Beverly Lahi say they just want the truth. But for almost a year, they couldn't even find out who owned the building. Here now's Fred Hutton has our story.
Well, here we are again, Judy.
Sisters Beverly Lahi and Judy Johnson like spending time together, but they don't look forward to this task. This is their brother's empty condo at the Sundara. For insurance purposes, they have to come here several times a month to make sure everything is all right.
Unfortunately, he got sick and passed away, and we are left now trying to dispose of his condominium. Don't need much doing in here, it's just to freshen it up, Judy.
Roger Perry died of cancer last September at the age of 62. His sisters were named co-executors of his will. Over the last year, they've spent about $7,000 on insurance, taxes, condo fees, and utility bills just to maintain the vacant space. All this while trying to mourn the loss of their brother.
I can't tell you how many times I've walked through that door and stood in here and said, "Raj, where the hell are you?"
As co-executors, they can't wrap things up until the condo is sold, but that's easier said than done. As CBC First reported last week, 33 of the unsold units in the Sundara have been taken over by the Newfoundland and Labrador Credit Union. With lagging sales over the last year, the previous owners, Rockmount Properties, in which Premier Dwight Ball is a shareholder, had planned to switch the building to assisted living. All this uncertainty and the loss of their brother is weighing heavily on both women.
Like I was saying, with we leave a bottle of his aftershave here, just so we can, it brings him back. I don't want to keep doing that. I want it gone so we can move on and let the grieving be done in our own way, not tied to something that's so negative.
Angry and frustrated, Johnson and Leahy don't know where to turn.
How can you advertise anything for sale if you don't know what you're selling? And who's going to buy if they don't know what they're buying? It's limbo. Just looking at his picture brings back so many memories.
For now, those memories will have to do. But Beverly Leahy and Judy Johnson say they won't be able to move on until the condo is sold and their brother's estate is closed. For Here and Now, Fred Hutton, CBC News, St. John's.
2 people had to be rescued from a roof in Corner Brook early this morning. This large home went up in flames around 3:30 on Country Road. 2 people and 2 dogs escaped through back windows and climbed onto the roof. Within 3 minutes of the call for help, crews were rescuing those residents from the roof, as well as 2 people who were inside the home's basement apartment. The fire was contained within about 20 minutes.
Anytime you show up to a scene like this, either in the day, but especially in the middle of the night with a 2-apartment home and people trapped in both residences, they come out of there with no serious injuries that we know of, and you know, the fire stopped and the house still standing like it is. It's a good news story.
Time to turn our it is a good news story for sure. Close call. It is time to talk about the weather, of course. That's why Ryan is joining us. What a dream-long weekend we had.
Did you have a good time?
I had a wonderful time. You were working yesterday. Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. As long as somebody enjoyed it.
It was
sunny
glorious.
And warm. Oh. It was beautiful.
Yes, but the big question now is, how long is it going to last?
About 20 more minutes. We do have showers moving in tonight, and it's, again, the wind shift as we roll through the overnight, where we go from a nice southwest wind that's been bringing us the high teens, 20s, to northwest winds, which is, of course, going to bring in the cool air. This is the system that's moving through right now. Some of the remnants of Hurricane Nate actually tracking in with this system. Now, the showers haven't really been working up into St. John's, the northeast coast today, just not quite getting into this neck of the woods. Most of the action has been over the south part of the Avalon, and some showers rolling up into western Newfoundland, a few spits up into central as well, but that northeast coast and St. John's, again, not getting into the action, but the radar seems to indicate a couple of showers will likely pass through this neck of the woods, as does the future tracker through this evening. Far from a washout, but a couple of showers certainly on the menu into the overnight. As we roll into tomorrow morning, watch for some lingering showers for St. John's, that northeast coast. Again, very, very early in the morning, but the risk is there. Quickly clearing, though, and again, it is just a slight risk for Metro. Everybody else, a very quiet start, except for southeastern Labrador. Pretty good chance of showers there. Happy Valley Goose Bay, a slight risk, and could see a flurry in Lab West. We'll talk about where temps go from there. Not far as we roll throughout the day. We'll have a full look at your forecast in just a few minutes. Debbie?
Thanks, Ryan. Well, a lot of new faces at the swearing-in of the new St. John City Council today. A new mayor, deputy mayor, and 5 new councillors said the oath prior to this afternoon's weekly public meeting. Here now's Jeremy Eaton joins us live from City Hall. So, Jeremy, what was the mood at today's ceremony?
In the 2 years that I've been covering council here at City Hall, I've yet to see the chambers at capacity, but that's exactly what happened here today. Now, if you were lucky enough to get a seat inside, you could feel the change in the air. You could also see it in the seats below. So like you said, there's a new mayor, new deputy mayor, and 6 new councillors. 5 of them are female, and the new mayor, Danny Breen, says that's the most ever elected in the city of St. John's. So, one by one, the fresh faces stood forward to take their oath and sign their official paperwork. It was standing room only today, and there were a lot of young faces in the crowd to match the new youthful-looking councillors. But the largest cheer went up as Hope Jameson was sworn in today. Here's a little of what the Ward 2 councillor had to say.
We've got a great team, a lot of really different life experiences represented, and I think that's going to help us work together to really build a city that works for everyone. So I'm really excited about this. The weight of the responsibility is, of course, kind of top of mind at the moment. All the conversations I had with people at the doors, now I have to deliver on the stuff that I've spoken about with people. So that's so exciting to me, but also the responsibility to really get things done is on my mind.
There was no easing into it today for the new council as they jumped straight into a meeting. The first ever meeting led by the city's 15th mayor, Danny Breen. So for new councillors like Ian Froud, the real work now begins.
It'll be a steep learning curve for 4 years. The complexity of the city, the complexity of the ward, and the issues that we are aware of now and the ones that will come up. So I'm looking forward to digging into those right now as soon as I can. I'm also encouraged by the optimism that I feel in the city right now. A lot of optimism for the diversity of the council, the energy of the council, and I think it's going to be an exciting 4 years and an opportunity to get some great things done.
The people have spoken, and the new look council has taken office, and there will be a steep learning curve as these councillors get ready for the next 4 years, but there is a big desire for change in the city of St. John's, and now the new council needs to deliver. Reporting live in St. John's, I'm Jeremy Eaton for Here and Now.
Your driver's license is about to get a serious upgrade. Today, the province unveiled a new design for driver's licenses and photo IDs. As Here and Now Zach Gowdy tells us, it's about a lot more than a new look.
In the next 5 years, all driver's licenses in Newfoundland and Labrador will look like this. The government says the redesign is all about improved security and saving money. So let's talk about the security features first. In the new license, all of the text will be laser engraved, meaning that it can't be scratched or changed or altered in order to make a fraudulent ID. Also, the laser engraved text is tactile, so you can run your finger over the text and feel it on your hand. In addition, the new documents will have a document identification number separate from your driver's license number. It's just one more thing that makes this document harder to fake. And also Also, the card itself will be printed on polycarbonate material, so it will last longer in your wallet. Now, let's talk about the savings. Like most other provinces in Canada, these licenses will now be printed by a central manufacturer. They won't be printed locally at your Department of Motor Vehicles anymore. It will result in a slightly longer wait to get them, but the cost savings over the long term adds up to a lot of money.
There's actually a savings of 68 cents per card by using this method. If we had to continue with the old method, we would need to replace all our equipment. So there's a savings with using this new method.
Will that cut down on workers here? Will that take away jobs?
There is no impact to staffing ratios.
The new licenses will start coming out later this fall, but your current license will still be valid until it expires. Oh yeah, and they will be normal size, so you don't have to fit this in your wallet. Zach Gowdy, CBC News, Mount Pearl.
Up next, new research about ADHD adds to the knowledge that it's a brain disorder, not a behavioral problem. There is new research about children with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. ADHD is often seen as a behavioral problem because children can be inattentive, impulsive, and fidgety. But here's an excerpt from a national CBC report we aired on Here and Now last night.
The student there on the left has ADHD, but here's the thing, it's the same kid on the right. The difference, a math video versus Star Wars. Now you may think that explains it. The math is boring and his brain is tuning out. The movie is far more engaging. But researchers say this study found the exact opposite.
When the kids with ADHD move their most, they actually do their best cognitively.
So when do you need to start working? Most people fidget when they're trying to listen and understand new information. Pen clicking, toe tapping, doodling helps keep the brain stimulated and alert. Kids with ADHD move for the same reason, but do it a lot more to compensate for a deficit in their brain.
And I'm here now with Janine Hubbard, who is the president of the Provincial Psychologists Association. She's invited us to her office. And Janine, this is where you actually assess some of your very youngest clients.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
So, Janine, the brain tests in this new research are showing that children with ADHD actually learn less when they're calm and still than when they're moving around. That seems counterintuitive. How surprising is it for you?
Well, it does seem counterintuitive, but for anyone who works with kids or teens with ADHD, it actually makes a lot of sense. It is amazing to watch kids sit and they're bouncing and they're moving around and they're up in their chair and they're poking and prodding at things, and yet they're focused and they're hearing what's going on. When you force a child with ADHD to sit quietly in a chair, you see their attention levels start to disappear. And this sounds really counterintuitive. Kids with ADHD actually have brains that are almost understimulated. So I know this is exactly the opposite of what you think, because you think of kids being really hyperactive. Their behaviors are hyperactive to help compensate for that underactivity in the brain.
How prevalent is this?
We believe it's about 5% of the general population, so you're probably looking at 1 or 2 kids in most classrooms in this province.
School is underway now. Teachers are getting to know their students, and I would assume some of the students are not settling in as well as others, but at what point do you look for signs that this may be something else like ADHD?
Well, you're absolutely right. We want kids to settle into school, and it's not even so much in the school year, but in the early years. We actually don't diagnose ADHD under the age of 6 because of those maturation reasons. The fact that some kids may have been in daycare and had a very structured experience, other kids may have, just kind of been at home. So we kind of give them that kindergarten year. But if you're settling into grade 1 and your child is still really struggling academically, or your child is just struggling to focus, you're seeing it in school, the other diagnostic criteria is we have to see the behaviors in at least 2 settings. So we're looking for kids who are having difficulties both at home and at school or out in the community.
I read some of the research that said 3 times as many boys as girls are diagnosed. Why is that?
Well, we're still a little uncertain about some of those numbers. There's certainly a lot of suspicion that perhaps the numbers are a little closer to equal. What tends to happen is the hyperactive, impulsive boys get picked up very early on because they're very disruptive in an early classroom setting.
So would that mean they're getting overdiagnosed because of those disruptive behaviors?
Well, we're hoping that if an appropriate diagnosis is made and a thorough investigation, not just a series of checklists, but like a thorough comprehensive assessment, we're hoping that we are accurately diagnosing those kids. The kids that are missing out are, in particular, inattentive girls. And even hyperactive girls. They're often referred to as the chatty Cathys, or as opposed to a boy who might be running around and very physically engaged, a little girl might be sitting at her desk twirling her hair, and that's her version of that overactivity. So it often gets missed out. ADHD is almost a diagnosis of exclusion. There are so many other things that we want to take a look at. We want to rule out medical causes. We want to take a look at hearing and vision. It could be an emotional issue. If you have a child who's inattentive, they might be having anxiety. They might have a sleep issue. They might have experienced trauma. The list of possible things that could also present like ADHD is enormous, and that's why it's really important to have a very comprehensive assessment.
Just want to wrap things up by speaking about something you told me before I came over. We were chatting on the phone, and you were saying quite often when a diagnosis of ADHD is made in a child, often the parents find out they have it too.
Absolutely. We know that there's a very strong family component in ADHD, and many people sort of my own generation were missed going through school, and it's only now as I'm describing these features in their child they're saying, but that was me at that age. This is what I'm doing. These are some of the struggles I'm having. And I'd strongly encourage anyone who's suspecting that as well. It's a really important thing to check out, because we see many individuals who may have been very successful, either because of or in spite of some of their ADHD, but even as adults might not be working to their full potential, and that there might be some additional supports or interventions available for them.
And it's probably a huge relief to them.
It is an enormous relief. It's finally reassuring that, okay, now I understand what was going on all those years.
Janine Hubbard, thank you very much for chatting.
Thank you so much.
And just a final note, there's going to be a public presentation and discussion of ADHD next Tuesday evening at the Capitol Hotel in St. John's. They'll explore a whole lot of topics, including adult ADHD and treatment options. That's from 7 to 9:30.
A lot of Newfoundlanders would come down for the parade?
I'd say you'll have, I don't know about a lad, I'd say you'll have them up. If you ever headed down there, then you would know the Leaf Nation, wouldn't you?
Leafs are 3-0 early in the NHL season, but up next we ask the question that's on many minds. Is it too early to get ready for a possible Stanley Cup run for the team? Welcome back to Here and Now. Okay, Leafs fans, and Ryan, I am looking at you. Is it time to plan that parade route yet?
Well,
maybe it's a bit soon. What do you think? But Toronto, as people are talking about, they're 3-0. They've got a young team. They made the playoffs last year. Some fans are talking about, you know, Stanley Cup, or they have Stanley Cup fever.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
the fever, it's getting higher. I'm going to comment after this story. First, let's look at Toronto's Greg Ross, who talked to fans about where they'd like the parade route to start.
Is it too soon to start planning the parade route?
Yeah, it's too soon. It's a little too soon. It's never too soon. How many years has it been? Been waiting
50 plus.
I'd like to say, if I said yes, but I mean, I don't want to be eating my words down the road or anything like that. You know where I'm coming from, don't you?
I wouldn't be too arrogant as to say we should start planning the parade route, but hey, let's keep the positivity going. You know what I'm saying?
So let's plan the parade route then.
You know what? There's nothing to lose. We're 2-0 right now.
Why do people say that about Leaf fans?
It's easy to get excited around here. We're starved for attention.
I think as Leafs fans, we are, you know, over-optimistic sometimes.
Where would the parade go if we started planning right now?
On your street.
Where's your street?
In Stratford.
So you want the parade to go down your street in Stratford?
Yeah.
Maybe they could start that parade in Newfoundland.
Or either that, keep going through Cape Breton and a few other places, and head down to Newfoundland.
We'll start it in Niagara Falls and run it all the way out.
So it starts in Niagara Falls, ends in Newfoundland.
Well, I'm not going to argue.
Where would the parade route start, though?
I'm not getting into it. I can't say it.
Just say it once.
No.
Come on.
No.
Halifax, maybe. Maybe that's where they should start it in Halifax.
Start it in Halifax.
Yeah. Bring it all the way to Toronto.
You guys have enough people here. Maybe you guys could do a little parade for us right now. So this is the parade right here.
Yeah, this is the parade.
A lot of Newfoundlanders would come down for the parade?
I'd say you'd have, I don't know about a lot, I'd say you'd you'll have them up. If you ever had it down there, then you know, you would know the Leaf Nation, wouldn't you? Because they all would be out.
Leaf Nation.
Leaf Nation.
In this part of the world, and who'd be leading the parade?
This guy. Now, I gotta say, any true long-suffering Leafs fan knows that it is way too early to plan the parade. In fact, until the final buzzer of the Stanley Cup final, it is too early to plan the parade.
Oh, you of little
It's
faith.
just bad karma. And we've had 50 years of bad karma.
Yep.
It's been a long, long time. So let's not bring any bad omens on. No parade planned. That said, if there is a parade someday, it should absolutely start here in Newfoundland and go all the way back to Toronto.
Yeah.
Leafs Nation is well represented here in Newfoundland.
Most
and
easterly
Labrador.
point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a
So
great
Carolyn,
idea.
I don't think we should bring it up anymore.
No,
though. It's getting his blood pressure.
Nothing gets my blood going, other than the weather, which is a brutal segue. But have a look at temperatures that have been on the rise today. Have a look at those records. As we mentioned, the records broken last night in Terra Nova, 24 degrees, back to 20 in Terra Nova today. Gander at 21, Twillingate at 19. St. Anthony, that weather station, also set a record. The Daniels Harbor weather station has been recording data since the 40s, and that broke a 1950s record there, warmest October 10th since the 1950s at 18 degrees. And you can see widespread warmth across the province for today. 17 was the high in through St. John's. Now, unfortunately, the weather on the way headlines and brings back a little bit down to reality. Much cooler for Wednesday, Thursday, and that's why I've got the sweater there as we take a look into Newfoundland's forecast. We've got some sunshine on the menu, but still watching for some showers, especially over the western parts of the island. Showers and some flurries on the menu in Labrador, and it's all thanks to this low. Again, the remnants of Nate primarily moving to our south, and this new developing low, which is going to be drawing in some cooler air from the northwest. It's actually developing as we speak and will really intensify over the next 24 hours as it moves offshore, but it will be pulling in some stronger northwest winds. Still watching the possibility of some showers across the Avalon, the northeast coast this evening, but primarily the action has been northwest Newfoundland and then down across the southeast. Again, no radar, no precip showing up on the radar really across the Burin Peninsula, but the webcam shows, yeah, definitely some showers there on the go. 16 degrees at last check in Marystown, winds in from the southeast, so some coastal fog there as well. That'll continue through this evening. Watch on the other side of the cold front. That's where we go into those northwest winds. As I mentioned earlier, possibility of some lingering drizzle from St. John's to Bonavista tomorrow morning early on, but that clears pretty quickly even by mid-morning. I think the threat is long gone. Looking at shower possibilities along the coast of Labrador tomorrow with some wet flurries mixing in, flurries in Labrador City. And the other shower chances we're watching for tomorrow will be along the west coast of the island with those cool onshore winds, especially late day, really firing up some activity. Sea effect showers starting to fire up later Wednesday, and that will continue into Thursday, where we could even see some graupels, some snow pellets mixing in on the west coast of the island and the northeast. We'll talk about that and with your Thursday and long-range forecasts coming up. Overnight lows tonight, again, not bad. 10 degrees to start in Metro. Unfortunately, that's about as warm as we get, with those northwest winds gusting 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. Highs tomorrow in the 10 to 11 degree range. Even cooler towards central Newfoundland, where it's a mix of sun and cloud from start to finish tomorrow. The west coast, as I mentioned, it's going to be not a bad start. Showers really, the chances increasing through the day. So especially for the afternoon and evening hours with winds in from the northwest. A little bit warmer along the south coast. Burgeo may even get to 12 or 13 tomorrow. There's that unsettled shower mixed with wet flurry activity for much of the day along the coast of Labrador. Some sun breaks inland, but chance of showers for much of the day there as well. That's your forecast Thursday, Friday, and beyond coming up.
This weather update is brought to you by the Take Charge Business Efficiency Program. Over 400 businesses have saved energy and taken charge of their bottom line. Find out how you can too.
Well, a pest control company says St. John's has the biggest rat problem of 15 cities in Atlantic Canada. That's ahead of Halifax, St. John, and Moncton. Orkin says that's based on the number of commercial and residential rodent treatments it carried out during the past year. I met up with Ken Penny of Orkin to talk about how big the problem is. So Ken, we're here strolling along Rennie's River, a place where I've seen rats before. It looks like the kind of place where rats would like to hang out.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It is for sure. Yeah.
What is it about this kind of place that makes it attractive to rats?
Well, number one, you got the foliage. You got areas like you see the roots and the vines and things coming up from the ground. So you got little hiding spots there. Rats need 6 ounces of water a day. So water's a huge thing, and then shelter.
So St. John's is the rattiest place in Atlantic Canada.
Yeah.
How did you come to that determination?
So basically what we done was we looked at all the numbers within our company to see how many people have called in for rats, how many people that we currently are serving, treatments that we've done for rodents, and when they looked at the numbers, St. John's was number one.
Wow. What is it about St. John's, do you think, that makes the rat problem bigger than other places?
I think it's the St. John's itself. St. John's is the oldest city. So most of the residents, I mean, when they built their homes, especially in some areas, I mean, there are older houses, you know, some of them are not structurally sound. But then you have places like this that are in the middle of residential areas where they have the conducive conditions that will promote the population. So, and then on top of that, you know, St. John's technically is a smaller city, but we're always growing. So with all the development, they're tearing up habitats. Right. So when you're tearing up a habitat, the rodents have to go somewhere. So you're usually going under your decks, under your sheds.
Right. So. People think of rats living in dirty places, in like the dump or in garbage, but what's the real situation with that? Where do rats go?
So most of the time, I mean, rats are, you know, they more utilize humans as a tool to survive. Yeah, they don't like human pressure. So they'll just hang around on the periphery, you know, on the exterior of people's homes, probably outside the fence lines, in places where they can hide away. But then when that cold snap comes that we're currently going into, that's when they want to get inside, right? It's in areas like this. I mean, it's in the suburbs, it's in the neighborhoods, places where people are out barbecuing or people are utilizing their environment, leaving out, you know, the garbage, the half-eaten food, you know, letting water pool around their homes, and then so that it will draw the rodents in. Plus, like I said before, I mean, when you're building a deck or building a shed, you leave that big gap, and they're they're living under those areas.
So it sounds like some good advice in that.
Yeah.
Some of those things not to do, to not leave your garbage out, to not let water pool, to make sure there aren't any little holes getting into your house.
Yeah.
So the rats are now looking for a place to go. So rats are sniffing around people's homes right now looking for ways to get in.
When you think of a rat needs a half an inch to get into somebody's home. So it's about the size of a quarter. A mouse needs a quarter of an inch, which is about the size of a dime. So you're talking about holes in your foundation, open windows, obviously, you know, when we got the basements with the windows closer to ground level, you know, open doors, or even something simple as a seal gone in the bottom of your doors, or a door not closing properly.
So St. John's has lots and lots of rats. Is one of the reasons because we have so many rivers, like Rennie's River, and we have all kinds of bodies of water around everywhere?
Well, that's one way of looking at it. I mean, the thing is, that's what makes St. John's a little bit different to any other city. I mean, there are a lot of cities that have lakes and rivers, but almost in every sector of St. John's, there is a river, there is a lake, there's a pond, you know. And those are the places where they like to hang out, you know, during the summer seasons, right? I mean, we still do have, you know, litter. We still do have a lot of organic material around that they would eat. And then, like I said, residential homes are so close that it's just, everything's so easily accessible to them.
Well, Ken Penny, I guess there is one good thing about all of these rats.
What's that?
Good for business.
Yeah.
Right? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For speaking with us about it.
Have a good one.
You too.
The French government has ordered brand new ferries for St. Pierre and Miquelon. For the first time, people from the islands will be able to come to the Burin Peninsula with their cars.
Welcome back to Here and Now. The French government is putting 2 modern ferries into service between Saint-Pierre-Miquelon and our province next month. And for the first time, travelers between the French islands and Fortune will be able to bring their cars. The new vessels, Nordée and her sister ship Surquois, can carry 192 passengers and 18 vehicles. Here Now's Anthony Germain traveled to the international border crossing in Fortune to meet with a very excited mayor, Charles Penwell.
French government's announced 2 major ferries. How significant is this?
Oh, this is very significant for Fortune and for the Burin Peninsula, and of course particularly for St. Pierre and Miquelon, because the plan is to have these 2 ferries which can carry close to 200 people each, and 15 cars, 3 tractor trailers all at the same time. It should mean a vast expanse of the tourist trade and freight traffic between here and St. Pierre.
Up until now, there has not been vehicular ferries here. What will this mean for people in St. Pierre?
Well, for people in St. Pierre, it'll mean when they come and go, they can bring their cars with them when they want and carry them back when they want. I think it'll be a great opportunity for them. It'll also be an opportunity for tourists who want to go to St. Pierre. If they want to take their vehicle, they'll be able to do so.
This will obviously be really beneficial for Fortune, but what about the rest of the peninsula, maybe even the province?
Well, I think it'll be very beneficial for the whole province, but particularly the Burin Peninsula, because Fortune as a small town will benefit from the fact that they're coming and going here. But the people from St. Pierre and tourists, as they increase, you'll see more and more traffic all around the Burin Peninsula, and of course, traffic that are coming from the mainland will come through the rest of the island.
I've been in certain shopping areas in St. John's, and I've seen people from St. Pierre show up with wads of cash to buy stuff that's too expensive in France. Do you think that we might see some of that spread across the island?
Well, yeah, I think you will see some. It's fairly evident here now when we see people from St. Pierre coming and going in their own boats. They carry a fair amount of goods that has been bought and purchased in Newfoundland because it's a lot cheaper here than in St. Pierre.
Does anything have to happen here to make way for these new larger vessels?
Yes, we do have to make some changes to our wharf here on the other side of the customs, and the Port Authority here has applied for funding. Looks like it's going to get the funding from the federal and provincial government to do that, and they have to put in significant dollars themselves. But the ferry, in order to dock their boats properly here, needs new wharf infrastructure.
So construction jobs?
Yes, it's another $4 or $5 million of infrastructure. That's a fair amount of work.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Well, now back to the story of 2 sisters who are desperate to sell a condo in the Snoddon development, a condo that belonged to their brother who died last year. Judy Johnson and Beverly Lahi say the empty condo is a financial drain on their brother's estate, but uncertainty about the future of the complex means it would be very difficult to sell.
Well, here we are again, Judy.
We know that it's basically in limbo, because we can't find out really who owns it, who to talk to about it, what to do about it. It's costing us, or the beneficiaries, a lot of money monthly, and this is ongoing and with no end in sight, so it's a bit worrisome. We don't know who else to turn to ask questions about this, and this is probably one of our ways of reaching out to see what we can find out.
And legally, we have to come in here every so often and check on the place in order to keep insurance on the property. Insurance companies are very reluctant to insure a vacant building.
A vacant condo.
Condo. It's expensive, it's time consuming on us, and I find it very difficult to have to come in here on a regular basis, and it cuts. We just want it gone so we can move on, so the estate can be closed. It's heartbreaking to have to come here every couple of weeks and just look around.
This was where your brother lived.
This is where our brother lived. He loved living here. He loved his neighbors, the people in the building. He liked the area, but unfortunately he got sick and passed away. We leave a bottle of his aftershave here, just so we can, it brings him back. I don't want to keep doing that. I want it gone so we can move on and let the grieving be done in our own way, not tied to something that's so negative. It's hard.
I can't tell you how many times I've walked through that door and stood in here and said, Raj,
Where the hell are you? I can't believe he's gone. But it's been so negative. And we are left now trying to dispose of his condominium, and we're just stuck. We've been stuck for a year because we don't know enough information about who owns the condo, what's going to be done, whether it's going to stay as just straight condo or if it's going as assisted living. How can you advertise anything for sale if you don't know what you're selling? And who's going to buy if they don't know what they're buying? It's limbo.
Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins had their visit at the White House today. The reigning Stanley Cup champions were welcomed by Donald Trump, despite calls to boycott the invite. The timing coincides with recent controversies pitting the U.S. president against professional athletes from the NFL and the NBA. Time now for Young Athlete of the Day, and tonight we have not one but two. These are twins Jack and Nova Raymond of Portugal Cove St. Philip's. They're 3 years old and enjoyed their first year with the Portugal Cove St. Philip's Minor Soccer Association.
Nova loves being in the net, and Jack is great at kicking the ball long distances.
Great job, Jack and Nova. You are today's Young Athletes of the Day.
What a sweet picture. I just had to comment. And speaking of young ones, you were back in the classroom today?
Back in the classroom today. Made my first trip to Paradise Elementary. What a school. Again, fairly new. And what a lot of kids they have in there. Went to see the grade 5s today. There are 5 classes of grade 5s, more than 100 students. And we had a great old chat today. And they were all very well behaved. You imagine that size of group, you can get a few whispers, but they're perfect. And have a look as they... Of course, they all want to say hi to Mom, Dad, Nan, Pop, aunts, uncles, friends. And yeah, they were a really great class. I had some really good questions today about hurricanes and tornadoes, and of course, they always love. I have my storm chasing video that I take out and show them. So it was a great visit, and thanks again to Paradise Elementary for having me out to visit. Well, one of the things we did talk about today were the winds, and the winds shifting, and you can take a look at where the boundary is with that cold front right now. Montreal is at 21, Edmonton's at 17, Gaspé is at 17, Corner Brook's at 16, and we're into the single digits across Labrador and northwestern Quebec. And that northwest wind is going to flush out these warm temperatures. Yeah, there'll be a distant memory as we roll over the next couple of days, really staying cool Wednesday, Thursday into Friday, not really rebounding until we work our way into the weekend. So a little bit of good news there. We'll track it out for you as we roll forward. This is the low that's been developing, moving off to the north and east tonight. Note the lingering chance of showers, as I mentioned earlier, from the Avalon up the northeast coast to Bonavista. Everyone else, it's a nice bright start tomorrow. Some showers for the island, that is. Some showers over the southeast parts of Labrador and some flurries on the go in Labrador City. That chance lingers for much of the day in Lab West. I think even along the coast of Labrador, shower chances. Along the island, it's shower chances into the afternoon and especially the evening hours as that cold air comes in aloft and really makes things unstable in the atmosphere. Now, we're going to talk about temperatures highs tomorrow, just 10, 11 degrees for the southeast and cooler as you work your way northwest towards the source of this cold air. 2 degrees in through Lab West for tomorrow. Now, watch as we move into the Thursday time period. And that cold air moves in aloft over the entire island. And that's where we're going to see shower chances firing up along the northeast coast into St. John's into the afternoon and evening hours as well. And as I mentioned last night, not ruling out some grapple or those snow pellets that could mix in with some of those showers along the west coast of the island and along the northeast coast for Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening. This is the time of year where we see that kind of precipitation. Now, as we roll into the Friday time period, well, we'll talk first about your highs on Thursday. Yeah, 6, 7, 8 degrees for most of us, maybe 10 degrees along the south coast, shielded from that northwest wind. Unsettled in Labrador, again, shower and some flurry chances primarily in the morning, easing off into the afternoon as our area of high pressure builds in from the west. That will then move into Newfoundland through the day on Friday, where you can see highs in the 8, 9, 10 degree range. So still cool. I think shower chances perhaps for Gander and the northeast coast early on, but generally we're clearing out as we roll through the Friday time period. Saturday and Sunday looking for the most part dry. Shower chances for western Newfoundland for Saturday. And I should mention Saturday night chances of rain right now for central and east as well. But it looks like we'll clear by the time we get to Sunday. At least that's the latest timing. In Labrador, again, the brightest day looks to be Friday. Showers move back in on Saturday with a clear out for Sunday. All right, our viewer picture of the day. This is an interesting one. Not necessarily a weather picture, but because of a great summer, we had, of course, a great growing season. And so this picture comes to us from, well, James is from Port aux Basques. I'm thinking this must have been grown in the Codroy Valley. This pumpkin weighs 819 pounds.
Oh my goodness,
Now,
is it 100 years old?
And now, according to James, this is the biggest pumpkin in Newfoundland and Labrador. Now, I posted this on my Facebook page. If there's a bigger pumpkin out there, post it on my Facebook page and we'll find out.
Or even like, what is the biggest pumpkin ever in Newfoundland?
Yeah, that's a great question too.
Like, is that the biggest? That's pretty big.
That's pretty impressive, as you say about all those storms that you follow. Thanks for being with us, everyone. Good night.
Good night.